One of the most amazing structures that has baffled men for centuries, is the Pyramid of Giza. How it was built, who built it and so on. Scientists, geologists, archaeologists, and many other boffins tried to figure this out. Up to today, it is still a mystery to all these boffins. Hundreds of pyramids were built across the world. The best known are these in Egypt, Africa. There are some in South America. China. Europe. And even North America. It remains to be seen when they will find one in Australia. Just explore the net and you will see there is one in Antarctica. They have even found some in Bahamas, only they are underwater. There are various theories as to who built the pyramids. Some say gods, some say giants, and others say aliens. Gods could probably do it, because they are powerful. Giants could do it, because they are big and strong. Aliens had the advantage in technology, maybe mind power, blah blah blah. Some say this one. Some say that one. What about the slaves? There are many theories on how they were built. One is that they built tramps to haul the stones on wooden sleds. The higher they went, the longer the causeway became. The other one is, they built a ramp that ran all around the pyramid to haul up the stones, also on sleds. A very interesting theory is that they built canals and tubes along the height of the pyramid that were filled with water. Then they used bags made of skins to float the stones and move them to the desired place. As the pyramid grew higher, the tube rose accordingly. This is a fascinating and not impossible theory. As for aliens, they used anti-gravity machines to move the stones. Blah blah blah. There are also others' ideas of how it was done. Let's check first what the Egyptian hieroglyphics show us. Hieroglyphics are pictures that tell stories. Much like the Rosetta Stone, hieroglyphics have an alphabet with pictures. Let's start with the first one. Here we see all the activities of the Egyptians few thousand years back. They were mainly artisans. In the first one in the red circle, we see two men sanding a block of wood. In the second one, a man is sawing a piece of wood. In the following one, it looks like a man excoriating a piece of wood with a planer. Here is one carving something. These two are drilling holes into something like a frame. This one is probably busy engraving something hot, for he is holding it with some kind of a nipper. Those two men are forging a copper vase or maybe golden one. Notice the anvil in the one's hand. Also notice the hearth, the nipper and the sharp tool above them. These two are probably busy panel beating or sanding the vase. Lastly, this man is etching the vase. Does it make sense to you guys? Here we see, they know how to form metal for tools. There are saws, drills, anvils. They know how to forge metals. Therefore they must know how to make tools for building pyramids. Let's look at the next mural. Here we see that they are towing a statue on a sled. First we see the freemen or slaves towing the statue. Second, we see the supervisor who is overseeing the project. Then we saw the man who is pouring water or oil at the front of the sled as lubricant. Are those water or oil bearers for the lubricator? These are rail bearers for the sled. Those are probably slave masters. These could be more supervisors or artisans. We see soldiers, coming back from the front. Possibly. Do you agree, that the pictures have reflected these activities? In other words, in this manner the Egyptians told us a story of how they lived, worked and ate. Okay, the next few tell us of the battles the Egyptians had. What is the most prominent of the following pictures, are the pharaohs. All of them are big. Then we see the dead soldiers on horses. We see chariots and weapons. All the chariots and weapons are made of metal. Again obviously, they had the knowledge of how to make tools. On all the photos and drawings of the Egyptian murals, I found on the web and books at the library, I didn't see a single picture of a quarry where stones were hewn. There wasn't a single picture of reed boat transporting stones via the Nile from the quarry to the pyramid site. There isn't a single picture where Freeman or the slaves are towing stones. What I did see on the murals were a lot of slave masters. I also saw a lot of boats without any stones. On all the murals only the pharaoh and the nobleman were allowed to have a goatee. All freemen and slaves were clean-shaven, but interestingly, the Jews are clearly depicted on one of the murals. Check them out. Don't you agree? All the males are bearded. Another interesting mural shows Jewish boys undergoing circumcision. This means the Jews were in Egypt as described in the Bible. What does this mural tell us therefore? The great exodus of the Jews from the land of Egypt? Maybe. Okay, let's see what Graham Hancock tells us about the building of pyramids in Egypt. He says, "To be honest, I have no answer to that question, and anybody who tells you that he or she knows how the pyramids were built, are not telling the truth, because we don't know. We don't know. The Great Pyramid contains a number of mysteries. If he doesn't know, how can he tell us how or who built them? That means he is a liar. He wrote a lot of books on all the mysteries across the earth, but pertinently admits that as far as the pyramids go, he doesn't know. That means he is selling us bullshit. He also says that others who say they know, are lying. But so is he lying to us. He continues that he is forced to consider the possibility of a lost civilization in human history. This is a work of almost but not quite space-age precision, so he is implying that it was the aliens who built the pyramids. He also refuses to accept that the pyramids were built by slaves. No slaves were ever involved in the construction of the Great Pyramid. As far as I know, there were no slaves in the Old Kingdom Egypt. It sounds like he was there when he says, "as far as I know." I have read some of his books and all his guesswork. I think. I suppose. I guess. And so on. What he is trying to do in all of his books, is to prove there is no God, the God of Israel. Come on people, don't fall for these guys, they lie to you. End of the story. As we previously saw in the Egyptian murals, the Israelites were in Egypt. What do we see on this mural? On the top half we clearly see that they are doing forging works. Or am I lying? No, you can clearly see the hearth, pouring pot, mandrel, tongs, bellows, and big and small crucibles. Now the interesting part is the lower half. What do we see here? They are making bricks. But before we continue on this one, do you know who this man is? Long before I knew or heard of this man, God gave me the vision of how the pyramids were built. That was long before the internet. But all honor should go to Joseph Davidovits and the Geopolymer Institute, for he was the first man who published the Egyptian technology of pyramid building. What he tells you is 100% correct. Let's check the bottom half again and see what we find. We see those fetching water from the water hole to make clay. Then there are those who mix the clay mixture. Then those carrying the clay and those casting it. Next there is a man leveling the stone or wall, or he is smoothing the stone. Very interesting are those carrying the stones. The Boffins reckon it is giants who built the pyramids. The stone is about 1.5 meters thick. Therefore the giants need to be at least 6.75 meter, 22.15 feet, tall according to that mural. The British strongman Andy Bolton set the record for the heaviest deadlift when he lifted 457.5 kilograms from the floor to his thigh. The record for an overhead lift stands at 263.5 kilograms. His is 1.83 meters tall and his weight is 160 kilograms, 350 pounds. The ratio between Andy and the giant is 3.688, therefore the giant should be able to lift 1,687.26 kilograms and the average pyramid stone weighed 2 ton. According to the mural, the giant is carrying 4 ton. Watch Andy's face, he has expression of intense straining. There is no way he would be able to walk with this weight. With one step he will definitely fall. Altogether there are 2,6 million of these stones. How far would these giants have to walk to move the stones from one side another? How many times would they have to move per day to move these stones? It is clear Andy can barely move. Do you really think giants would be able to? Come on people, get real. Finally we have evidence of what one man can single-handedly do with a 20-ton block. Some Bible verses for you to ponder and to help you make a decision who you believe, God's truth or men's lies. Exodus 1-8 And there rose a new king over Egypt, who did not know Joseph. 9 And he said to his people, Behold, the people of the sons of Israel are many and mightier than we. 10 Come, let us deal slyly with them, lest they multiply, and it will be when there comes a war, they join also to our enemies, and fight against us, and get out of the land. 11 And they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with their burdens. And they built treasure cities for Pharaoh, Pithom, and Ramses. 12 But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the sons of Israel. 13 And the Egyptians made the sons of Israel serve with harshness. 14 And they made their lives bitter with hard work in mortar and in bricks, and in all kinds of work in the field, all their work in which they made them do was with harshness. Exodus 2:23 And it happened after many days the king of Egypt died. And the sons of Israel sighed because of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up to God because of the bondage. Exodus 5-6 And Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters of the people and their officers the same day, saying, 7 You shall no more give the people straw to make brick, as before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. 8 And you shall lay upon them the number of bricks which they have made before now. You shall not take away from it. For they are idle, therefore they cry, saying, Let us go sacrifice to our God. 9 Let more work be laid upon the men, and let them labor in it. And do not let them regard vain words. 10 And the taskmasters of the people and their officers went out. And they spoke to the people, saying, So says Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. 11 Go and get straw where you can find it, yet not any of your work shall be taken away. 12 So the people were scattered through all the land of Egypt, to gather stubble for straw. 13 And the taskmasters hurried them, saying, Finish your works, the thing of a day, just as when there was straw. 14 And the taskmasters of the sons of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten. And they demanded, Why have you not completed your task in making brick, both yesterday and today, as you did before? 15 And the overseers of the sons of Israel came and cried to Pharaoh, saying, Why do you deal so with your servants? 16 There is no straw given to your servants, and they say to us, Make bricks. And behold, your servants are beaten, but the fault is in your own people. 17 But he said, You are idle. You are idle. Therefore you say, Let us go, let us sacrifice to Jehovah. 18 Therefore go now and work, for there shall be no straw given to you, yet you shall deliver the number of bricks. 19 And the overseers of the sons of Israel saw themselves in affliction, after it was said, You shall not take away from your bricks of your daily task. We all know that the Jews are clever people. Probably it was them who built the pyramids, not the gods, neither the giants or the aliens. Come on people, there is so many lies in the world. Don't fall for it. Check it yourself. More to come.